All right. Here we go, Holy Ones. Machiwa. I welcome all of you brothers and sisters connecting to this spirit, this frequency, who are coming here regularly representing that consciousness of the holy, you would say, angelic human race, who are connecting to your indigo self, connecting to your Lyran Elohai self, connecting to your starseed self, who are finding in these teachings those identity levels of your Kirashe, your Kundare, your Braharama, the Unisai. Welcome all those who are newcomers and regulars, as tonight we talk about the Anunnaki and the Reptilians, yes? And what they really are. And I don't mean from a mystic or an occult point of view. I don't mean from like a New Age point of view or religion point of view. I mean from the Emerald Order, innerchristos, law of one point of view. So this is how we're going to be talking about from that perspective of how these fallen angels, what the guardians call malevolent extraterrestrials, how they've infiltrated our world in many different timelines, not just this timeline, but in super ancient times, in Atlantis, in Lemuria, what the mainstream science says doesn't exist, while there's millions of people around the planet who remember, who are literally having those movies play in their mind of Atlantis. So you transmute anyone saying it does not exist because you know better, Holy Ones. So usually when I talk about the Anunnaki or the Reptilians, there's a lot of interest. So this could be a busy live or not. But this is something that I like to talk every once in a while. And it seems like it's very relevant in what I have learned, you know, what's been being commented on my Luciferian video. You know, all these misunderstandings, or you would say all these confusions, all these distortions about how this being, Lucifer, or even Metatron, or even Archangel Michael are actually connected to the Anunnaki and the Reptilian extraterrestrial races. And so I like to make, you know, that was in my mind, in my heart, because I'm sitting here answering all these questions on Instagram, on TikTok. Well, I don't answer TikTok, but Facebook and YouTube. And I thought this was going to go viral on Instagram, but it didn't. But it is doing pretty good on YouTube. Over 20,000 views. And for me, most of my videos are only a few thousand views. So when it hits 20,000 and it's still rising, I know there's some interest there. And yes, the consciousness of Lucifer and Satan are exactly, specifically related to the Anunnaki and the Reptilians, who both, you could say they're competing gangsters. You can say that they both want a one world order. They both want a takeover of the human race. They both want an annihilation of the Christos frequency consciousness. They don't want you remembering who you are. They don't want you, you know, activating your 12th strand. You know, most humans are known to have 2 strands or 3 strands. Well, they don't want you activating your 12th strand, because then they would lose all their power and they wouldn't need you anymore. So, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, your brother Anunnaki has cut his hair, as promised, as warned I don't mean warned, but as I was telling you for the past month. Even 6 months before I even told you I would cut my hair and go back to my youthful appearance. Whether you think I'm youthful or not, that's something else. But this is something that is part of my... I just explained this for a couple minutes because it's a big deal, energetic-wise. It's a big deal to me, and it's a big deal to a lot of you. Cutting my hair was something I didn't just do frivolously. This was an effort that I meditated on for a lot of times. And yes, I did ask your opinion, and I got a lot of feedback, but at the end of the day, I have to make that choice for me. And it is your brother Anunnaki who is going through a huge transformation, whether you can appreciate that or even understand that or not. I ask for your understanding. I ask for your compassion, holy ones. So I am moving from this place I've been for a few years to Arizona. I'm in the process of it. It's going to take a few more weeks or a month to do. I'm also around the corner is the spiritual journey with my other Christic homies, family, friends into Sedona, a very powerful frequency, consciousness, energy, a sacred place. This is also part of my transformation. It's a new doorway. It's a new gateway. It's a new timeline for me. And I've also shifted into an active lifestyle. Now I'm working out regularly. Your brother Anunnaki is building his body back at what it once was. I still have to work on my diet, but otherwise I am improving myself. And the most important transformation, or the aspect of my transformation, is finding my twin flame. So I'm going to always, when there's a huge shift in my life, I will do something to my physical body. And the most obvious thing for me is my hair. So I don't expect everyone to like it, but this is my choice. This is my path. Thank you so much for those of you who can understand. And there we go. And so it is. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I don't exactly... When I went to the hair salon, I let the experienced lady do my hair. I don't exactly like everything she did to my hair, but it only takes me 4 weeks before I'll go get another haircut. When I have short hair, I have to get regular haircuts. You guys, this is my first haircut in 3 years, 3.5 years. And when she cut that hair off, I had no reaction, no negative reaction. I was ready to let go. So thank you, all of you. Thank you for those family who can understand and appreciate what I'm going through. Thank you for your compassion and understanding. Oh my gosh. So that was nice to get that off my chest. Let me light my incense. And who knows, you know, I have the option to grow my hair again if I want to. And that's that. And this is exactly why, because I had a couple of comments, not a lot. I had a couple of comments. Why did you post that picture last night? It's a bridge. It's a bridge to this. A bridge to my explanation. And that's why I posted that picture. There's no reason why you can't live a youthful appearance. There's no reason why you can't exercise regularly. There's no reason why we can't be abundant. We want to be abundant. We want to take care of our temple. And it's a lifestyle. It's a choice. And I made my choice. And I'm not even done in my journey. My changes are not even done, right? So, the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki, right? There's so many opinions about what are the Anunnaki. One of the biggest things I want to call out right away is there's actually several races of Anunnaki. There's actually several races of reptilians. Not just one of each. So people get this distorted idea of what are the Anunnaki and what are the reptilians. So we're going to talk about some of those distortions tonight. Because they're not your friends. And they are themselves, call them the Luciferian covenant or the satanic, the Satan. That was kind of leading into tonight's topic. The difference between Lucifer and Satan. There is a difference. They're not the same being. Regardless of what the Bible has quoted. And it's like I'm doing two jobs on that Lucifer video. I'm doing two jobs. The first job is I'm correcting their own beliefs. Their own beliefs. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible about that Lucifer is the morning star or the fallen angel, or this whole story that me and all of you who grew up in 111. There's 111 BUs. Someone put that in chat. I claim that frequency. I grew up in Sunday school and being taught about this whole story of Lucifer being sent for, cast out of heaven, when Lucifer is only mentioned once in the Bible. And I explained the specific verse in the book of Isaiah. And what people are doing is they're taking something from one book of the Bible, from another book of the Bible. None of these verses say Lucifer, but they're combining it into some idea of what they think Lucifer is. So that's my first job, correcting their own teaching. Hello, there's a Latin translation where this actual... the Bible, there's different languages, the Greek, the Latin, the Hebrew version, there's different lost translations. And someone created this Lucifer was not even based on the devil or whatever you think is Satan. It was actually based on some king, not some spiritual being. It was a human being, some Babylonian king that was called Lucifer. And it is a direct reference, a comparison of him being referred as, he thinks he's so mighty like the morning star, which is the planet Venus. Suns are stars. They're all stars. And some of the planets you can see mixed in with the stars, but they look like stars too. So they called in some of those old days, there's the star of Venus, one of the brightest stars, because it's in the morning in the sky, and they say, this King Babylon think he's mighty like the morning star. And then the religion patches together all these different freaking verses in their own teachings. The original teachings doesn't say that, but different religious traditions and different, theologians have put this together, that it was some dude in heaven that got kicked out. So that's my first job, is to straighten out their own freaking teachings, and then introduce to you, it's all, the Bible itself is a distortion. And that these are actually malevolent extraterrestrial beings. And I'm sorry if I'm full of this energy, but I spent hours. I spent hours and hours, and I'm still not even done. I spent hours answering people. Yes, I answer people. Read the comments. You will see what I'm talking about. And it's going to be the same thing on tonight's topic. People are going to be writing their ideas coming from the Kabbalah, from mysticism, from New Age, of what they think is Anunnaki, trying to correct me when they're trying to flip it, invert the truth. When they don't have any background or actually knowledge, it's all inverted knowledge. It's all false light knowledge. It's all twisted knowledge. So you will see me reply in a Christic way. I'm not going to go down to their level. I'm going to speak to it in a very calm way and explain things. So, so I actually have to do research to figure out what the hell they're coming from, and then I find out that they're coming from some other teachings. It's like you probably know these kind of people. They take this belief system and they take some belief system here, they take some belief system here, and they mix it together and they try to promote it as fact. And you can find out where they're getting their sources from by even just a basic research. The Metatron, also connected to Anunnaki. Metatron is a perfect example. People, why are New Agers talking about Metatron? Because, are you Jewish? Because Metatron is not mentioned once in the Christian Bible. Where does Metatron come from? Fact check me. How about this, homies? Why don't you fact check yourself? Fact check your own information. Go look and say, where does Metatron originate? It comes from almost 2,000 years ago from the Jewish Kabbalah. It was mentioned in the Talmud. It's coming from Jewish beliefs and teachings. But why are Christians talking about this angel? Why are New Agers talking about this angel? Right? Head smack. It's going to be the same thing about Anunnaki and Reptilians. You're going to be bringing all this patched work from Zechariah Ascension, some stuff from the New Age, some stuff from the Kabbalah, and stuff from the Book of Enoch, and you're going to front me and say, this is the truth. Not even fact-checking themselves. So we're going to reply every single distorted comment, and I mean every single comment that people leave, I can reply from a Christic point of view. Every single thing. They think, they have when they see their distortion after distortion after distortion is exposed, you see them stop talking. They now maybe they have to confront their own belief system. And a lot of people don't like that. It's easy to all these Jesus speakers, and that's all they can do is quote Jesus or quote the Bible, and they can't even come up with their own truth. They can't even hold themselves in the conversation. It's so easy to reply to them. But when these people are coming from other belief systems, you have to point things out in so they can see it for themselves. Look here, homie, look here. This is a live, so let me say hello to my beloveds. Grand Rising says Lady Tracy Ann. Omni Christos love to Anunnaki and tribe. Wishing you, Anunnaki, an amazing birthday in a couple of days. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. May all your dreams be fulfilled. Thank you, Lady Tracy Ann. Bless you. Thank you for being here regularly. Thank you for shining your light, Holy One. Sandra, always your live starts after I go to sleep, but looking forward to watching it in the morning. Greetings to all family members. Yeah, you guys, I am on an American timeline. I can't be at your perfect time zone, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why some people do their lives in the morning. There's no way I'm going to do my lives in the morning. My routine is already just right for me. So, but like Sandra said, the replay is always there for you guys whenever you're ready for it, right? Grand Rising to Steve, brother. Good to see you, man. Sermatism. Welcome, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a moderator and your service and watching the community. Oh, Steve is saying, I invited a few people to the live as suggested. It might be a good idea to advertise the live. Maybe it is, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Yeah, I actually advertise every single live on YouTube. It's in my YouTube wall. They call it posts. Go to my YouTube posts. That's where I will say when I'm doing a live or if I'm canceling a live. So since we're on YouTube, well, it's easy to find on my channel, my post check page. On Instagram, I make a post there too. And on Facebook, I make a post. So I am announcing when I start live, actually. You just have to look on one of those pages. But sorry if you didn't see it, brother. But there's an explanation for that. We got El Salvador, Kiwashe. Somebody's studying the information. Machiwa, those are the primal life fields. Those are the universal trinity. Those are the ones that have created all the alien races and also the planets in the time matrix. So, Kiwashe, Holy One, what's up? Merkaba. You said it, brother. Sarah Holder, blessings, sister. Woohoo! So happy that you're here with us, sister. And also thank you for your service and helping with the community as a moderator. Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate the positive feedback, right? Thank you, Caroline. Woohoo! Thank you, LR Seeker. There is some positive people. Thank you, Kevin. You guys are going to make me cry. Thank you for your positive frequency, man. Because you know I will get hate from some people. You will get some twisted ideas from some people. Like last time I announced I was going to cut my hair, what did some people have to say? Age with grace. Homie, I am aging with grace. I can do whatever I want cosmetically or on the surface. What I wear, what I do with my hair is my business. But thank you guys for those of you who get it and who are full of this understanding and compassion. Machiwa Johnny Wild. I don't know all Spanish, but te cortaste la greña. Greña. Thank you. I hope that was positive, right? We got G-Light, Machiwa fam. Love the new work, says the new look, says Charlotte Halley. Thank you, Holy One. We got Abby88. Lady Ann, Anohazi looking amazing. Very cool. Sarah Holder loves the new hair. Thank you, Star Sister. King Matt in the house. David Larzana, this topic is spicy. Yeah, you said it, David. Stay tuned for those juicy details, right? Thank you, G-Light. Thank you so much. And just so you guys know, that whole aging gracefully comment nonsense, I was getting gray hair in my 30s. So what the F, man? I was dyeing my hair in my 30s, in my 40s, and now my 50s. So what? Who cares? Let's move on. Shit. Thank you, Kristen Loves, for your positive comment. And I do have to start, you guys. If you guys ever have any questions during tonight's live, please tag the channel name, Christos Avatar TV, and I can see your question a lot easier. El Salvador, isn't that the mad holographic copies of these guys like Metatron and Michael, Toth, etc.? I don't know what meta holographic, but we're all holographic, homie. Everything in existence in the time matrix is hologram. Everything is made of that technology of light. It's light radiation, a holographic illusion. But we know that. It's consciousness that created this holographic illusion, so that source, that which is not manifest, can experience what it's like to be manifest, and also what it's like to be an individual. You're never a physical being. You're never an individual. But source wanted to experience that perception by downstepping itself into the time matrix, and so it could experience itself on many different faces. We're all faces of Creator Source God. It all started at the top. There's no such thing as evolution. You were already evolved. You're already eternal. You never had a beginning. You'll never have an end. Just like Source. This is based on the law of one. We're all one. The biological hologram can age and die. But your true source, your true identity, is the soul essence that embodied the fetus of your pregnant mother. Life, consciousness, spirit went into the fetus. Your mother grew it and birthed it, and you were a baby, you were a toddler, you were a teenager, you're an adult. But that is not who you are. Even though you probably looked into the mirror a million times and saw me. That's me. No, it's not you. What's inside is the spirit, which you can't see in normal sight. So we're all holographic projections. That's the technology of the time matrix. So there's no such thing as copies, man. What do you mean copies? We're all original holograms. Metatron was an Ascended Master group that came into the time matrix hologram field and then also fell. And that is the beginning of the Anunnaki fallen angels, tonight's topic. So your question leads right into tonight's topic. So Ascended Master groups, the Guardians don't call them that. That's what New Agers call them. So sometimes we use that word so they know what we're talking about. The Guardians call them Yanas. Y-A-N-A-S. Yanas. That's an Anunnaki term. So, everything outside the time matrix is good, is blessed, is living within the sacred universal law of one, within that at one-ment with Source God. So there's no demons, there's no fallen angels, there's no demiurge, there's no darkness, there's no shadow beyond the hologram. You can only find dark beings and evil things in the hologram fields. That's some sort of experiment of God. It's part of Source God's creation process. It's all being returned to Source God. There's in the Partikai spiritual science, there's a backflow. Everything that's happening here is returning back to Source God. And this is one hologram time matrix. There's 24 of these. So all these time matrices are part of God's creation process. So they're not copies. And there's this ridiculous idea out here somewhere. People think that there's NPCs. You know, NPCs are what's in the 3D reality in computer simulation games. That's not a real player. That's a AI or electronic digital program. NPC, non-player character. But now people take this idea and say there's NPC beings out here. It's freaking ridiculous and absurd. Everything is made of spirit. Everything is made of energy. Energy is consciousness. Consciousness is energy. It's the same thing. Everything is alive in the hologram. Everything, all hologram beings, all hologram things are all consciousness. They're made of the ultra micro conscious beings. Partikai. Ultra micro particles called partikai. So if everything is made of particles, ultra micro particles that are alive, well, everything that is made of particles is alive. Everything is alive. Everything is part of the unified field of Source God. These fallen angels, the Anunnaki and the Reptilians, are taking that knowledge away from you. They're giving you religions. They're giving you submission systems. They're giving you blind worship systems. They're giving you fear. They're feeding you guilt. We're going to go into detail on that. They don't want you knowing you're connected to Source God. That takes away their power. It's a ploy. It's a trick. It's a hoax. It's a scam. It's a lie. Religion is a lie. They have sprinkled some truth in there. There's a little bit of truth in there, but it's mixed with the lies. So who cares? Do you want partial truth? Or do you want to know the full truth? Because the truth is out there, homies. You better believe that while we have all this fallen angelic beings, like the Anunnaki and Reptilians, well, you better believe there's some guardian beings as well who are following God's original source intention for this time matrix. There's something called the Emerald Covenant. That is God's source's original intention for this time matrix. But God also introduced the divine gift of free will. God gave all life here free will, and some have abused that free will. It's not a freaking role, like some people are trying to say, to test you so you can learn and evolve. BS! What did I just say earlier? You're already super evolved. You came here to experience levels, down steps. And there was free will introduced, and then darkness happened because some abused that free will. It's not a freaking role. It's a devotion to the path of chaos. Now they became anti-God. They became anti-humans, anti-life. That's what these Anunnaki beings are. They're anti-God. What we call anti-Christos, anti-Christic. They're against the Christos beings, the guardian beings who are still following Source God. So what do they do to these guardian beings? They crucify you. They put you on blood ritual covenants. You're drinking blood in communion? You guys, you won't believe this, man. What is First Communion in the Catholic religion? And first of all, just think, you brothers and sisters, what does it make you feel when you hear the word communion? I don't know about you, but I had something feels not good in just the word communion. Little children around 6, 7, 8 years old. They're drinking the blood. They're eating the flesh. They're announcing covenants in their prayers that they're forced to memorize. They're dressed as a bride, as a groom, and it's you understand the symbolism, man? Because I had someone recently make a comment saying they grew up in that church and they didn't like that feeling of when they were 7 years old going through that indoctrination. It's a freaking covenant that you are literally in these memorized prayers. You're literally giving your power over, man. Literally. Here's my permission. Here's my connection to the blood and death. And it's all considered some sacred thing, important thing you need to put your kids into. The same thing that your parents did to you and their parents did to them. Now you're all part of this dark, occult, fallen angelic religion. And let religious people make comments on this video, because I will politely transmute it from a Christic reply. And then since I'm leaving, my neighbors treated me to dinner. They cooked me dinner. These are freaking 2 indigo children. Bless them in their journey. Even if they don't identify with that, I see it. They were talking about all the stories in their own personal lives and their family, and how they saw some pretty dark things regarding children and how children are being used and transported on airplanes, and they're being escorted by men in black. And I talk about the underground super tram sub shuttle system. It goes Mach 2 and faster than that. All these movies have some form of soft disclosure. Well, this technology was softly disclosed in Men in Black 3. They used the sub shuttle system to go across the world within a few minutes. That's what it's for. To shuttle children, to shuttle elites. What are elites? They're beings that are not human. They're only part human mixed with Anunnaki. And that's another topic of this. There is actual alien Anunnaki and reptilians, but there's also, this is part of their attack, their anti-Christic attack on the angelic human race. And yes, we are angelic. Our original, you would say, purpose of our creation was to be as a guardian race, a powerful guardian race that has in our DNA all of the three flame founder race DNAs. We have within the angelic human race, we have the blue flame, the gold flame, and the violet flame in our freaking DNA. We were created as a guardian race that was meant to be replacing the Azarites. We're meant to be like the teachers of the freaking time matrix, man. The ones holding the code literally in our bodies. Instead, you're told by the Anunnaki, man. You're told by the reptilians that you're sinful beings. You know how powerful the angelic humans are with their mind and consciousness? And if they're trained to think they're sinners, they're going to make themselves like sinners. They're going to make themselves pathetic human beings that need to be guided by these false ET gods. And they're saying that they are your God, and they're saying they created you. When the angelic human race, homies, have this huge amount of consciousness. We're stationed in 5D Tara, but we have access to all the 12 dimensions out of the 15. You don't count density 5 because that's the eternal beings who are always here. They're not leaving and going. It's beings 1 through 12 who are leaving and going. It is pre-matter, starts at dimension 12. But that's pre-matter beings. Density 5 has no aliens, has no planets. It's called antimatter, thermoplasmic conscious beings that are actually hot plasma. They're made of hot plasma. They're spherical, a perfect geometry. They're eternal. So we don't count that density 5 when it comes to checking people's DNA templates. As soon as you hit 12th dimension, you can leave the time matrix. Density 5 beings don't leave. They're always here forever. You can hear Speaker 1, Ashana Dean, saying that too. But it's in the teachings. They're called the Universal Trinity. The Universal Trinity isn't going to just go. They're always here. That's where our morphogenetic fields are stored in antimatter. All the beings in the density 1 through 4, you have to have that connection to exist. That's why they can't leave, because the actual creation of all body templates are coming from there. Your morphogenetic fields from density 1 are in density 5. Same with the other densities. We were immortal. We are immortal at those levels, and the human race are in density 2, harmonic 2. Dimensions 4, 5, and 6. Earth is dimensions 1, 2, and 3. So we're trying to get back. We're trying to return back. But the whole reason, the entire reason why our humans are having trouble ascending is because of these Anunnaki and reptilian races. These are totally different fallen angel races. They originate from two different dimensions, from two different planets, and so they have total different appearances, man. The Anunnaki look nothing like dragon races, reptilian races. Lucifer, Satan. You'll see pictures of Satan looking like some freaking horned being, like a reptilian. You'll see Lucifer looking like a beautiful human being. It's two totally different DNA templates. It's two totally different identities. But why do I have to do your job, religious people, and explain that? It's the same distortions happening. They say Elohim is one being. It's God the Father. It's Yahweh. It's Jehovah God. No, it is not. It always has, always will be a plural word, just like seraphim is not one being. Seraphim is a collective of beings, just like Elohim is a collective of beings. But you get these patchwork, borrowed teachings, and now they're saying it's the word of God. Elohim is a race of beings that were created by the Metatron, Ascended Masters. You know, you got all these different races that are helping to create life in our time matrix. One of those collectives was called Giovanni, a huge Ascended Master group. A huge group, and with a family within that huge group are called Metatron. So Giovanni, Jehovah. Giovanni, within Giovanni is Metatron, and Metatron created the Anu. They originally called it Anu with a Y, Anu. So that's where who Metatron really is, an Ascended Master group, but they fell. And so this is all explained in Voyagers 1, and I'll have one of our moderators share with you Voyagers 1 and Voyagers 2. Actually, that story is in Voyagers 2. Right. As originally translated, not written by, not authored by. It's authored by the Guardians, which is these books and these videos are based on the CDD plates. That's the real teaching source. This isn't the original source. It's a translation of the original source, which are holographic disc records, advanced technologies by the Guardian races. So she's the original teacher, not author. So you can't copyright this work. Even she can't copyright it. It's coming from the CDT plates. Bless her. I love her. A lot of us do. But, you know, let's understand that when people try to demonize this work because it's, you know, they try to demonize Ashana and say, and try to discredit the work. It's not her work to be discredited. You can discredit her if you want. But it's coming from the density 5 and beyond. And it was first introduced to our planet, not in the most recent days, like Jeshua's days or anything like that. It was introduced way before Jesus was teaching it. Because he was one of the Guardian speakers once upon a time. And believe it or not, Jeshua was actually only speaker 2. He wasn't speaker 1. In his time, Jesus, there was John the Baptist who was speaker 1. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but just realize that there's the source of these teachings originally came to Earth in written form 200,000 plus years ago, way before Jeshua. And so there was guardians then, there was indigo children then, there was speakers then. Once upon a time, Thoth was a guardian Emerald Order speaker. No wonder he made something called the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, giving himself credit for these teachings. But it's not the true original teachings anyways, because he took that knowledge from disc 12. Remember, there's 11. Out of the 12 discs, he stole disc 11. The Guardians eventually got it back, but he still used that knowledge to create the Emerald Tablets. This is all connected to the Anunnaki. Thoth himself is part of the Anunnaki. He created this for these teachings, not for us, for guardian beings. He created it for the Illuminati bloodlines. So you know it's a reverse teaching. It's an inverted, twisted teaching. And some people in New Age are promoting it heavily. So you better believe there's false light teachings out here. And even one that Ashana said herself. About Drunvalo Melchizedek. He was one of the, he was way before Billy Carson. He was in the early 2000s. He was some big hippie looking guy like me, with the gray hair. And he had a ponytail. And he was really calm, easygoing person. But he was teaching reverse Merkaba. I was in one of his I didn't see him because he had people teaching his lectures around the world. So there was one that came to Nevada. So I got to see what he's teaching in his Flower of Life workshop. So I can confirm it myself. And I can confirm it myself, you guys, because they were saying... Shit. Shit. Because he has the audacity to call himself a Melchizedek. Drunvalo Melchizedek. Even Ashiana didn't call herself that. I was just shocked what they were teaching in there. Even though I didn't know all that stuff back then. It was a while back. But I'm just trying to say, you guys, there's all kinds of false light teachers, even if they're not aware of it. They get caught up in those occult teachings, and now they're teaching those occult teachings. This is the same thing I did in my first YouTube channel, which is gone, deleted, goodbye, transmuted, just like my old hair. Let go, release. I'm moving on. Because I understood I was making a mistake in teaching people freaking the same twisted shit that is anti-Christic. Teaching people candle magic, teaching people divination. What the F was I doing? Channeling these beings. Big time freaking, I don't know, like, for example, Bashar channels one being. I was channeling all kinds of beings. I was speaking all kinds of languages, and they weren't even nice sounding. They were all dark sounding. You think that would have been a clue to me? And I was like so fascinated by it though, for my 3D self. I actually was contacting translation companies. I was saying, is there any way you can find out what language I'm speaking? As if they're all going to be human languages. What I'm trying to say is, a lot of us were victims of the false New Age teachings, which are anti-Christic, man. And I can look back and be, I still love myself. I'm not like in a hate on myself for making those mistakes that led me to the Christic material. But I was experiencing psychic abilities, and there was nothing out there I found that explained it. So I had to go into these New Age books and find out some information. And it was distortion, and now here I am as a testimony explaining to you why it was a distortion. And I don't even know if it's real. It could just be part of their family line. But some of these beings were saying, I was, this was Thoth speaking, or this is Saint Germain speaking, that Great White Brotherhood distortion. Or famous people. So no wonder these New Agers get these chip on their shoulders. Oh, I am this. I am Isis. I am Osiris. Literally, how many people can you count who are supposedly Isis? Okay, one of you guys or a lot of you guys and girls you can't all be correct. But that just actually confirms that this is not one individual, it's a collective race. Archangel Michael is not a person, it's a collective race. A fallen angelic intruder race. They will create all these beautiful, just like Drew Melchizedek, create all these beautiful spiritual teachings. They sound so wonderful and full of love. When you don't even know what love is, you find out omni-love, unconditional love. You find out that chosen ones is a whole distortion. You're not a chosen one. You find out that you're actually doing reverse grid work. You're actually connecting to mediators between you and Source God. There's no such thing. You don't need a galactic council. You don't need a 12th Anunnaki. You don't need no freaking saint. You don't need no bishop. You don't need no pope. You don't need anything between you and God. But that's exactly what religions are, putting something between you and God. And now you're a sinner. Now you got to go into some little cubby and like booth and announce that, yes, I'm a sinner. These are my sins, priest. Please have Jesus or God forgive me. And when they don't even know what is God or what was Jesus in those distorted biblical teachings, you get distortion after distortion after distortion. You think you know truth and you're presenting it as truth. All you're doing is speaking fear and guilt and shame to the human race. You're doing an injustice. You're harming, not healing. How in the world is judging people, calling them sinners, spiritual or awakening or ascending? It's not. It's all based on you agreeing to blood ritual covenants. It's based. This is what the Anunnaki and Reptilians are about. Blood ritual covenants. And you can see it again and again and again. You'll see it in Christianity. You'll see it in Judaism. You'll see it in any religion. It's got something to do with blood and death. And people are just swallowing blood and death and speaking and thinking blood and death and chaos. Oh, it's going to be the end of the world. It's the end of days. We're going to be judged by God. Jesus is coming to wipe out humans. It's all about death. Did you notice that? It's about sacrificing, killing, murdering children, murdering women, men, animals. It is part of even your holidays, man. Christ, Mass, Christmas. Oh, wow. Masses of beings being sacrificed, and it's about a death. You know? This is why when I heard Catholic Mass, it just freaking caused this discordance within me. Just like the word communion caused this discordance. You feel it, man. You should be able to feel it. Because your DNA is wired to be Christic. And when those frequencies, those lies are bouncing off your template, you feel it. And when something aligns with your template, you feel that too. This is why even if you don't completely understand when someone's lying to you, you can still feel it. You feel that discordance. You know, like you play two pianos that don't match. Two piano keys, it sounds terrible because it's not a chord. It's not alignment. I just saw some sphere or something go down here by here. This is when you start talking about Anunnaki, understand that I was introducing you the actual bloodline. It comes from an ascended master group, a perfect consciousness family. But it's not perfect in the time matrix. So this perfect race came into the distorted time matrix and got caught up in it. They become entangled. They started to fall. And so when they saw some of the Metatron family lines fall, they started throwing in more of their consciousness from the Ascended Master Group to help rescue that. But they started to fall too. It became kind of like, it started falling into majority of the race. And according to Ashana, a certain percentage, when a certain percentage falls, The whole thing is pulled down. Giovanni didn't fall, but the part of it that was called Metatron, their whole freaking collective fell into the 15-dimensional time matrix. They were later put into the Wezedak time matrix. That's a whole nother 15-dimensional time matrix. But they started here. There was in the Ascended Master, I'm leading to the Anunnaki origins. This is why I'm introducing these concepts. It started with Metatron, which is being worshipped in the Kabbalah, being worshipped in New Age, being worshipped in the Talmud. It's supposedly some good being. It's not a good being, you guys. Once upon a time it was. That's not the version they're talking about. There's no angels in the cosmos. There's angels in the time matrices. ETs. Some chose light, but these ETs chose the path of chaos. So it started with Metatron. They got pulled into the time matrix. They got entangled. They were doing host matrices, trying to remember. They were coming in. Why? To rescue the Anu, who were coming and falling into, and they became the Anu Elohim. This name of God in the Bible. The Anu became, when they fell, they became named the Anu Elohim. The teachings don't say Anu, like the New Age, and they don't just say Elohim. They call it Anu Elohim. So truly, Anu Elohim are really Metatron fallen beings. They're the ones that put their consciousness in that race. They put their consciousness into the Anu, but the Anu fell. This is not me making stuff up. I'm not patchworking from different belief systems. It's coming from the Voyagers 2. There's a whole chapter on it. It's called the Lyran Elohim Wars. There's that word, Elohim. And it happened in Lyra. So Metatron put itself, but it got entangled in the freaking problems with the Anu race, becoming the fallen angelic Anu Elohim, and so their whole race fell. So Metatron fell. Metatron is Anu Elohim. But you know, from the higher level, it was the Metatron who created the Anu Elohim, but they put themselves in here. Now they fell into the phantom matrix, which by the Guardians is a scientific term. It's the black hole subtime space distortion field. But religious people have identified it as lake of fire, as hell, Hades. But it's actually a literal mechanic of the hologram physics, a reverse of the consciousness in the particum and particule matrix, a reverse of that. This is why their consciousness is reversed. Their polarity is reversed. They're against that which is God. They rebelled against the Guardians, who are called Christos. This is where the word Antichrist comes from. We don't call it Antichrist, though, in our teachings. We call it Anti-Christos, against the Christos. And who is the Christos? The 12th dimensional Guardians. The 12th dimension, the 12D, because you can say 3D and 5D. Well, that's the 12D Christic ray, which is a platinum. They call it a platinum ray. Or it's actually technically the light spectra of pure white. That's your 12th chakra, pure white. So they're against the Guardians. They literally, in the Lyran Elohim Wars, they attacked the Christos, the feline cat people. That's who the 12th dimensional race is. They're called the Anuhazi. The Anu Elohim, literally attacked their planet, attacked the Guardian planet from the 11th dimension, even though those cat beings are in the 12th dimension. And it was explained how they purposely reversed. These guys, these beings are super intelligent. There were once upon a time Metatron. Of course, they're super intelligent. But when they fell, that intelligence turned to a weaponized intelligence, turned into a dark intelligence. Now they're devious and diabolical. And they're taking creation mechanics and twisting it, inverting it, literally. They're anti-God. They're anti-Christos. They're anti-life. They're anti-human. This is your Anunnaki for you. And we haven't even touched on the reptilians yet. They literally learned how to reverse the Stargate 11. Remember, this is a network of connected universal stargates. So the Anu Elohim are in the 11th dimension, and they used their own Stargate and reversed it, like weaponized it, which created this cataclysm, this explosion, and it severed the 12th dimension from their. Now it became an enclosed system, 1D through 11D, in the Phantom Matrix. We still have particle universe. We still have anti-particle universe, but that branched off on its own in something called the Phantom Matrix. So at first it's small, but Ashana explains in one of her workshops how this falling, these beings, they had to in order to exist, demons, fallen angels, the Anunnaki, Anu Elohim, Metatron. If they want to exist, they literally now have no choice but to feed, spiritually, energetically feed off of the beings from the particle matrix. They're not normal beings, man. They're some phantom beings. They're called the Phantom Matrix. What religious people, what most of us call fallen angels, demons. They're in a whole nother reality system, but still connected to our reality because it's coming from our reality. But they're feeding, and they've been feeding. This was 250 billion years of feeding. They've been feeding for 250 billion years, and according to Speaker 1, Ashana, this has become as big, it's almost as big as our regular particle matrix. And if that keeps happening and keeps happening, they'll pull our entire matrix just as it did in the Wezidax matrix. Their whole time matrix fell. No Christos avatars over there. They devoured everything. So the fallen Metatron became the Anu Elohim in our time matrix, who were originally feline aquatic apes. The Anuhazi race are feline hominids, cat people. But this aquatic feline race, they're part cat, part ape. That's what the word means. Feline is cat, feline, aquatic, ape. Aquatic. So they're part, they can live in the water. Like a mermaid. I wonder what race the mermaids come from. This is getting to explain where these beings come from, and I want to show the matrix, but let me go to chat real quick. And you guys, I always got to say this at the beginning, at the end. My channel exists it's based on donations. This is my full-time job, and this is how I can survive. So you guys, please donate to this channel. I put the donation link at the top of chat. You can easily see it and click on it. Support one of your favorite content creators. If you like this video, if you like my content, please support this work. And so thank you so much for that, you guys. Bless all of you. And I know someone already did, so let me say that. Indigo Wizard, brother! Woohoo! Excuse me. Thank you, brother. I love the new look, Anuhazi. Do you, and don't worry about what anybody says about you as long as you're happy. I thank you for that, brother. And I am. I'm not worried because there's always going to be haters. And some people are so shallow, so superficial, they think that's a problem if I cut my hair. They'll come up with their own ideas. Like someone made a comment that, oh, your spiritual power is in your hair. Or, you know, you're going to be less of a conscious being, I guess, if you cut your hair. It's bullshit. Sorry for that language. It's BS. Hair is dead. If it acts like a radar antenna, just realize where the actual consciousness is coming from. It's coming from your chakras, not your freaking hair, not your fingernails, not your skin, homies. It's coming from your chakras, your Templar. That which you cannot see. You can see the hair. It's not coming from there. And there's no guardian teachings focusing on the freaking hair. It focuses on the 15-dimensional chart and shows you where all your chakras are, and that's God's source energy, life force currents. They don't talk about no hair. They talk about hoover bodies. They talk about chakra seals. They talk about crystal seals. They talk about fire letters. They talk about all. They don't mention no freaking hair. So you take your ideas. Anyways, thank you, brother. Thank you, Indigo Wizard. Celine, bless you, sister. Thank you so much for that exchange of energy. Thank you also for being one of our moderators here on Christos Avatar. Thank you so much. And it is very interesting. I'm like reaching for my hair to fix it or something, and it's not there. As a matter of fact, it's so easy to comb now. What a blessing that is, right? Just, oh, wow, I'm done. And she didn't even do a perfect job. I'm still grateful. But there's some patches that aren't even. And plus, they completely, totally ripped me off. I went to some fashion mall on Las Vegas Boulevard. That's my mistake for not checking the prices. I didn't know what the prices were. I was just too, thinking about my haircut. And I went in and oh, AMG, I look at my bill. Is this a joke? What is this? I'll let you guess. So thank you guys. Please support this work because I can't do this without you. Plus, I explained my whole shift in my life of me moving and changing everything in my life. It is very expensive to move, and I only have a few $1,000s to my name. And just my tires alone will cost $2,000. So I'm pretty much screwed in those terms. Some people may think I have a lot of money. I don't. And so I'm actually, at this point in my life, not always, especially when I'm with my twin flame, it won't be so bad, right? So, two incomes is better than one. But, so thank you guys so much for that exchange. And so I plan on keep on doing this work, and it's only going to get better and better and better. Machiwa. Keep hydrated. Isn't that okay? I read that. Aw, Kristen Love, we love it. We support your choices as the young man you are. And you guys, I honestly, whatever my body looks like to you guys, I do feel young. Especially when you're freaking running frequencies in these teachings, or you're just freaking high on life. You're not being pulled down from a lot of these religious distortions and New Age distortions. These are called the freedom teachings for a reason. You will feel free, man. Doesn't mean you're going to live forever. Nobody can, not even speaker 1 or 2. We're all going to die eventually. We're all going to age and get wrinkly because of the grids and earth. You can't do nothing while you're here. You can't null out what's the planetary distortions. You can do the best you can with your own grid, but you can't do something about what's happening in the earth grids. So, but you better believe there's certain people who can live for hundreds of years, and they're here. And that's too heavy for some people to believe and explain, but some people are just limited in what they can handle, right? Abby88, you look amazing. Congratulations on your transformation and your move. I wish you well on your journey, Star Brother. Woohoo, Abby! Bless you, sister. Yes, hugs. Thank you so much for your guys' encouragement. You look way younger, says Lyra Moon. Thank you, Holy One. Bless you. I'm not doing it for that, but it's just my energy feels like this. My energy feels like, you know, I'm working out. I feel good. We're going to be living in Arizona. Lots of nature to explore there. Beautiful, beautiful energy in Arizona. I'm going to be more active. We're going to, as a couple, we'll be active. And we're going to be doing the techniques together with her. We'll be doing other teachings, like we're going to learn yoga together. We're going to do all kinds of things together. So it's a win-win situation to go at a higher level of myself. And I told you guys even at the beginning of the year that I knew, you guys, some of you remember, I knew 2025 was going to be a huge shift in my life, a huge change. I won't even recognize myself. And it's already happening. What's up? Sarah Holder, thank you for that. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys. Much respect. 99, I claim that number. I like that number. And 12 Dragons. It's actually one of the 7. I had to correct myself recently. Arizona is one of the, specifically the Painted Desert is one of the vortices, which is different than a Stargate. And I didn't know that, so I had to correct myself. And I was apologetic, and I told everyone my mistake. I got to put that on my server so we can share that link about all the different vortices and stargates. I'm going through the comments. G-Light, I found her. That's what I'm saying. I already found her, but thank you for your prayer. That was part of the energy then. Thank you so much, sister. And one day, when we're both ready, I will introduce her to you guys. Sandra in the house. Machiwa. Sean Paris. I don't know. I don't know what the journey holds for me in the future regarding my hair. It's not as important, but, maybe I'll experiment with it. Who knows? I actually think I might want it a little bit longer than this. Remember, I told you I let the hairdresser do whatever she wanted. So this is her creativity. I didn't, so I just kind of went along with it so I didn't want to put that impression on there. So, Steve, vanity is BS anyway. You said it, brother. Superficial, vanity, all that stuff. Sarah Holder, 111. Woohoo! You guys sharing that in chat? The great serpent. You said it, David. And that's when you think of serpent, when you think of reptilian, when you think of serpent, it goes to the reptilians. Snake icons, snake statues in architecture, snake temples, snake themes. It goes to the reptilian aliens. And just so you guys know, there's many different Illuminati hybrid bloodlines on Earth, not just one Rockefeller group or Rothschild group or anything like that. It's not just the Kennedys or whatever. You guys, it is freaking a whole giant list of different family lines, bloodlines. But people do their New Age work, research, their cult research. They're going to be limited in their information. I'm almost caught up here. Machiwa Kumani in the house. Sorry if I said it wrong. Thank you for that. She said, I love your new hair, Anuhazi. Thank you so much, Holy One. Kimberly, we're all trying to figure it out. You said it, sister. So you guys, all right, so the Metatron, we're following this bloodline, and then we'll get to reptilians. The Metatron fell into the Anu Elohim race. The Anu Elohim race went into the Phantom Matrix. So basically, Metatron went to the Phantom Matrix. Now, they were trying to host Matrix them. That means they were trying to heal them. The Guardians created this Eye of Metatron and the Eye of Yahweh. These were Guardian technologies to help heal those beings. Later on, they take over those technologies. But those technologies were part of the host matrix. And according to Ashyanuddin and these teachings, some of them were healed. Some of the Anu who fell, healed. So if some of you feel like you're an Elohim guardian, that's why you're one of the beings, family lines who were healed by the Eye of Metatron. No, Eye of Yahweh. So the Eye of Metatron came after the Eye of Yahweh. That was another attempted fix. And I still haven't finished my Metatron sequence, videos, but I will eventually and explain this because it's very hard to understand. Excuse me. But I think Ashiana explains it in one of her videos. She does. This is gross. I'm sorry. But so they fell into the Phantom Matrix, what you call fallen beings, in the black hole system. And so they have access, though, because they created wormholes in Atlantis, in the ancient Egypt, in nowadays, the Philadelphia Experiment, the Montauk Project, the HARP system. They create wormholes so beings in hell can come here. And there's a whole bunch of information about how they created they manufactured these bodies, special bodies that are seventh dimensional. You see why I have a problem with 777? The seventh dimension, it has a meaning and it has a dark history behind it. The seventh frequency, the seven subfrequencies, you get 777. Okay, so you got these fake bodies these are the bodies that they're replenishing through death and sacrifice in the particle universe by torturing children, sacrificing them. Even the wealthy people are taking some type of powder from that and selling it top dollar. Normal people can't afford it. I'm not going to say the hashtag word. You guys know what I'm talking about. You can say it, you can safely say it in chat, but I'm not going to say it here on my live. It's all about the children, man. They're trying to live long and forever. Live just like their Metatronic beings in hell, black hole system are doing. They're living forever artificially by death and blood. And what's in the blood? Well, they harvest it and use it to keep on replenishing themselves. But remember, they're anti-life. The Anunnaki, Anu Elohim, Metatron, they're anti-life. So instead of living systems, they have sacrifice systems. They have death systems. Hello, Father Yahweh. Hello, Allah. You have to have a sacrificed, tortured, mutilated Jesus. The lamb has to be slaughtered, has to be tortured. This is exactly what is against God. You think you're learning about God? You're learning about Metatron. You're learning about Lucifer. You're learning about Anu Elohim, the beings who created religion, who brought religion to earth. The Anunnaki are part of that. Bring in a sexist patriarchy and have devaluing women, putting you in fear. You're commanded by this false Yahweh, Elohim, God, to fear God, who is described in the own scriptures as cruel. Those are not divine qualities. Those are fallen angelic qualities. It's part of the hell system called the Phantom Matrix. It's phantom consciousness. Anything related to sacrifice, you see it in witchcraft. You see it in satanic groups, in Luciferian groups who are worshiping them. They're a death system who are trying to live forever. These demons, these fallen angels are living and living and living because they keep on feeding and feeding and feeding. And they don't just feed on beings. They feed off of planets. This is why we have some planets who are fallen. A whole planet can fall. As a matter of fact, what happens to the energy consciousness of a planet that's destroyed with a weapon? You remember Darth Vader, Anu Elohim, the Sith Lords, murdered or destroyed the Princess Leia's planet in front of her. That planet breaks up into pieces. Did you see Star Wars? I think I have this too close. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot. I got to leave it away. Did you see Star Wars, man? It destroyed the planet. It goes into pieces. Where does the consciousness goes? It goes into phantom. So Nibiru was destroyed. Tiamat was destroyed. That means there's a phantom Nibiru, a phantom Tiamat. There's also a phantom Earth, because that's created when some of the consciousness from Earth falls. It has to go somewhere. It has to go to the fallen version of Earth. Part of Earth is fallen. Not all of it. Not all of it has pulled into the phantom, but that's exactly what their goal is. This is exactly what their agenda is. And how do they get that? They need a one world order. That's how they accomplish it. Because as soon as you get a new world order, you have one religion. Whatever it may be. I wonder what it's going to be. One religion. And when you have one religion, now you can bring the false coming of Christ like they did in parallel Earth. I'm not making shit up. It's in here. It's in Voyagers 2. They used HARP technologies in parallel Earth. What do we have here? So, Metatron fell into Anu Elohim and fell into the Phantom Matrix. Phantom Matrix created these bodies in hell, and now they're becoming immortal and staying alive by feeding off of life force of living beings. Their chosen source is babies. Why? Why the hell do they need babies? Because babies are fresh from spirit. It's the same reason why they're kidnapping kids and putting them in these secret space programs, using them as psychic soldiers, working in their agendas. They don't want adults. They don't want freaking young kids. 3D kids. They want indigo kids. They want starseed kids. Kids who are coming from these higher dimensions. Kids who have these high frequencies. This is why they treasure their blood. This is why they treasure the powder that comes out of this blood. This is why the fallen angels prefer children. Oh, they'll murder adults if they have to or want to, but it's focused on the children. This is why children are psychic. Most children are psychic. A lot of children are. And when your child complains and said they saw a monster in the closet or in their room, they did. Because these freaking phantom beings can't stay away from children. They want to feed off of the fear that the children are getting from seeing a creature, monster. They love it. Why do you think you have horror films? Why do you think you have giant stadiums of energy at a sports game, at an Olympics game? It's a huge feeding frenzy for these beings. You know, all these freaking games come from gladiator games of death, killing and murdering for sport, blood. Why do you think they create wars? More death, more blood, more sacrifice. This is how they roll. This is how Anunnaki roll. This is how reptilians roll. So, on Metatron fell to become Anu Elohim. Anu Elohim is the Yahweh God, the Elohim God. They created religions with their own names. Anu Elohim created a race of beings. 250. No, this is earlier. It's like millions of years, hundreds of millions of years ago, I believe. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember when they were created. But they created the Anunnaki in the 11th dimension. Metatron, Anu Elohim, Anunnaki. And their full name is called Jehovian Anunnaki, a reference to the original Metatron family line called Jehovani, Jehovanians. Remember, Metatron's inside a greater collective called Giovanni. So that's their power. So they use those words in the names of their gods and ET gods, you know, and their religions. So you know exactly where they're coming from. That fallen lineage, Metatron, Anu Elohim, Anunnaki. So when we say Anunnaki, we're making a reference to Metatron, the Jehovanians, and the Anu Elohim. Just remember, there's a much more powerful race than the Anunnaki, Jehovian Anunnaki, who created them, the Anu Elohim. Those are truly the most powerful fallen angels. Anu Elohim are in the 11th dimension. That's the highest they can go is actually 11.5. They can't go all the way to the Christos, the Christ level, because they're reverse consciousness. So they're stuck at 11.5. They can't go beyond that, no matter what they do. The only thing they can do is to change and do a host matrix with a guardian race. But, so, the Anu Elohim in the 12th dimension created the Jehovian Anunnaki. So let me show that diagram. Let me open it in Photoshop, and I'll switch it over right now. This time I put Metatron in my 2025 diagram. And you guys, this is for sale. This is another way I can support myself. If you like this diagram, this is a very amazing learning tool. And so the Ascended Masters are in the cosmos fields, in the Kundalini, called the energy matrix. This is where Giovanni came from. Metatron, Giovanni came from. They're from outside the time matrix. So they were one of these Ascended Master groups who brought, obviously they're from, if they're blue flame race, and that's what the Anu were, look, they're part of a blue flame race. The cat people are in the 12D, that's the Christos. And the Anu were in the, remember I said they were feline aquatic apes. They're the ones who fell and became the Anu Elohim. That's why I put in quotes. It's the same race as Anu. And I put a little arrow. The Anu fell and became Anu Elohim. That's what they named themselves because they know they're from Elohai. Holy Elohai. Okay? They're coming through the blue flame template. So, and remember I told you they took the Stargate 12 and reversed it to cause a disconnection from the 12th dimensional guardians called the Christos. The Anunnaki from the 12D are the Christos avatars. This is where you get, they're against the Christos, so they're anti-Christos, anti-Christic, anti-Christ. They attack the Christos. They hate the Christos because they represent Creator Source God. They're aligned with the original omnipolar, omnipresent God source. And they're against that. They want to be called God. What? I didn't mean to do that. So, an Ascended Master Metatron group was once upon a time a positive group. They created the Anu Elohim, or the Anu at that time. The Anu started to fall and digress in their consciousness, in their body forms. And so the Metatron started feeding more of their consciousness, putting more of their consciousness in the time matrix, but they started to all get pulled down. Eventually, their whole collective fell. Metatron is not a good thing, New Agers, Kabbalah people, occult people. It's not a good thing. Metatron is a dark, diabolical beings who created the freaking hell, who created the lake of fire, who created the black hole system. Oh, it wasn't million, it's billion. They're the ones that did this 200. Oh, I was talking about when Anunnaki were created. But the fallen angels were created 250 billion years ago. Reverse consciousness, fragmentation from our time matrix. So it was the so the Metatron. Let me go back to where I was. Metatron fell and became the Anu Elohim. And it is these beings who created a fallen angelic race. So you see, Anunnaki were created from a fallen angel race. They started off as fallen angels. They are fallen angels. Whether they're getting praised in New Age or not, this is truly who they are. And notice how this aquatic aspect of these beings comes. It's in the beginning race, feline. And now you have dolphin people. They seeded and created the Jehovians. Remember, the Jehovians are coming from that original family line called Jehovah, Jehovanians, Jehovani. The original ascended masters. And so the Anu Elohim created the original bloodline of Anunnaki. This is not what you see nowadays. Mostly it's this hybrid Anunnaki. These are the true Anunnaki. But you will see, and you see that they're in density 4. The original Anunnaki are in density 4. Well, most of our drama, you guys, most of the human drama is coming from the second universe, not way up here. You're not having a bunch of these beings come. They're mostly these beings in density universe 2, harmonic 2. And this is exactly where you get hybrid Anunnaki from. Inky Anunnaki. Enlil Anunnaki, Marduk Anunnaki, and there's also another one called Pleiadian Anunnaki. Not Pleiadians, there's positive Pleiadians, of course. We're not talking about the positive ones, we're talking about the hybrid ones coming on planet Nibiru. All these 4 races are coming from planet Nibiru. Also called the 12th planet, but some people started calling it the 9th planet because of its location in the solar system. But the truth of the matter is, it's actually a connection to this universe, not our universe. So these beings are coming from a higher universe. They're coming from higher dimensions. D4, D5, D6. D equals dimension. And I put those on this diagram. They're specifically located in those levels. And they're more advanced than us. Even though they're fallen. Remember, fallen races are all the way from dimension 1 all the way to 11.5 dimension. Just like the lake of fire is. The black hole system, 11.5. Like Thoth, Ashiana talked about him in more detail. Thoth is one of those 11.5 dark avatars. So he's one of the highest level beings possible. The highest level dark beings possible. What we call dark avatars. So the Jehovah and Anunnaki were created, but by the time you get to our drama on Earth, there's a whole bunch of hybrid Anunnaki. And there's more than just these four, you guys. If you look at my hybrids section of this diagram, there's Inky Anunnaki hybrids. There's a family called Thoth Inky. There's a family called Esasani Anunnaki, a million Anunnaki. Look what these beings are. Aquatic apes. These beings are insectoid, reptilian serpents. There's the serpent energy because they're part Anunnaki, they're part reptilian. It shows you right here. You got the draconian Zeta Reticuli, those, like gray aliens, mixed with Anunnaki blood. Well, now you get the Inky Anunnaki. And that's what Thoth is. In his original form, on his planet Nibiru, Thoth is a freaking insectoid reptilian serpent. Maybe he incarnates in the human hybrid bodies, but this is his original soul essence. He comes from Nibiru, man. And so his family line is called Lulatan. He's from the Lulatan family line of Thoth. And you have Enlil Anunnaki. You got these distorted teachings saying that this is a brother of Inky. They're brothers. No, they're not. There's no. These are actually manufactured storylines and misrepresentations and misunderstandings. The Sumerians definitely misunderstood what these beings really were. They just know that they're sky beings coming from the stars. They don't have no context for multidimensional alien extraterrestrial life. They just call them gods and they worship them as gods. Marduk Anunnaki is another hybrid. There's a bunch of those. There's the regular Marduk Anunnaki. There's a family called Marduk Satane Anunnaki. There's another family called Marduk Draman Anunnaki. There's a beetle being called Marduk Necromaton Anunnaki. These are centaur hybrids. You got Sathasa Anunnaki. You got Vikarits, and who created the centaur Anunnaki, like centaurs. Marduk Necromaton Anunnaki, centaur, Vikarit centaur. There's a bunch of Anunnaki races. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. Not just one, simple Anunnaki race. Oh, the Anunnaki this, the Anunnaki that. When people have no idea what is actually Anunnaki. It comes from higher dimensions in the 11th dimension. But there's a whole bunch of hybrids in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. And the stories get changed and edited and distorted. Now you think they're brothers, and it's coming in a bunch of books by author Zachariah Sitchin. And they're being praised, just like Archangel Michael's being praised, just like Enoch is being praised, just like Metatron is being praised. So you understand what's actually people are praising and worshiping. So these beings were fought and they fell in the Lyran Elohim wars. Who was the Anu Elohim fighting? They were fighting the Omicron dragon moths, reptilian races, who came out of the Orion. Originally, the Anunnaki came from planet Avion in the Lyra system in the 11th dimension. Well, the reptilians, the Omicron dragon moths, originate from the 10th dimension on planet Vega. You've heard of Vega aliens. Well, those are reptilian races, bird races, insectoid races, and dinosaur races. Dinoids, they call them. So that's planet Vega for you, baby. But the reptilians specifically went to the Orion system. They moved. Just like the Jehovah and Anunnaki moved to Sirius A. So they branched out into other, and they expanded their territories, of course. But these fallen angels, they fought intruder races, negative alien races. The Anu Elohim, Anu, feline, aquatic apes, and I have pictures of them. I'll show you. The feline aquatic apes, the mighty Anu Elohim, who are being worshipped by Christians and Jewish people. They're feline aquatic ape alien extraterrestrials who are existent in the Phantom Matrix. They were fighting with the Omicron Dragomoths. And you saw in the diagram that these are... Actually, I didn't show you the Omicrons yet on this live, right? They're insectoid dino reptiles. So at this level, which is the highest level, there's no reptilians yet. Well, let me correct myself. The Adeticron are at the same level, and they are reptilians. But these are, you'll see on the diagram, they're on the same level, Adeticron, Omicron. Insectoid, so that means they're part insect, like gray aliens with the big insectoid black eyes. That's insectoid. That's the type of race they are. That's their species. But they're mixed with dinosaur type of DNA. And reptiles. So they're called insect dino reptiles. And the quotes are Dragomoth. So that's their nickname, apparently. So imagine a dragon with insect wings, or a bipedal dragon. A dragon being kind of like... Actually, the actual dragon shape doesn't come until later. These beings aren't dragons yet, but they're associated with their children race who were dragons. You look at the parents and start giving them the nickname with their children made. But these are insectoid dino reptiles, dragomoths. And the Omicron, notice that this is actually part of COVID, but I'm not going to go there. This is an alien, fallen angel discussion. And so in that inset, this is who the Anu Elohim / Anunnaki were fighting. You can consider them gangsters who are competing gangsters. And so this is, there's sometimes they cooperated with each other, but for the most part, they both want Earth for their own agendas. They want our Aminte Stargates for their purposes. They want to be the kings, while the Anunnaki want to be kings. The Anu Elohim Anunnaki want to be kings, or the rulers of humans. These are lower dimensional beings than humans. Humans are 12-strand beings. They're only 11-strand and 10-strand. And at the same time, they say they created us. Look, guys, I showed you right here. Here's the Anunnaki, and this is where we come from. The Anunnaki are in density 4. Okay? And they created in density 3 a race called Lyran-Syrian Anunnaki. And it is the Lyran-Syrian Anunnaki who are eventually creating something called the Oraphim in the lower density. Feline, avian, that means they're part cat, part bird, ET races. And they are the ones who created the Ternesium angelic humans. But the DNA is very complex to talk about, and I will be making a video about it. They're actually representing all of the 3 flames. The angelic humans are representing bloodlines or genetics that are blue flame, gold flame, and violet flame. So we have a full spectrum of DNA origins in the time matrix. It's the same thing with the Azarites who were before us. They're the old guard. We're going to be replacing we did. We're meant to replace the Azarites as this, the the ones holding the DNA, the ones being considered the security in the time matrix, you know, the guardians. So there is nowhere in here where the Anunnaki created us. It's a lie. It's a distortion. It's Anuhazi, Lyran Anuhazi, Orifim, and Ternesium, and then humans on Earth. That's our line. The Anunnaki have a different line. They come from Anu, feline aquatic apes. Is the Sphinx an aquatic feline ape? No. It's a freaking lion, a cat, a feline. The Sphinx is a representation of who we are, of our true connections, coming from our forefathers, you can call them, our greater ancestors. This is 48 strand, while we're just 12 strand. We're spiritual badasses, but man, we don't compare to the Anunnaki. So, you're going to get all kinds of narratives saying they created us, you guys. Over and over again. It's even in the biblical religions. Anu Elohim created you. No, they're not source God, and they're not the races who created us. It's the Anuhazi guardians who created us, not the Metatron, not the Anu Elohim, not the Jehovah, Yahweh, Father God, Anunnaki. That's what they're trying to tell us. That's not our heritage. That's not our connection. We're connecting to the freaking Elohai, baby. What's up? Emerald Order for life. Emerald Covenant. So you're starting to see some of the reptilian connections. They were head to head. They were fighting each other. Like an MMA. You know? Anunnaki. Reptilian. But they're not called Anunnaki yet. They're called Anu Elohim. They were against each other. And these two factions, these two races, created races below them. I showed you who the races, some of the races that the Anunnaki create. Now, let me show you some of the dragon races that they create. And then I'll go back to chat. Okay. So the dragon moths, insectoids, they created they were in a density 3 race. Whoa. What the hell? Okay. So they're in density 4, right? They're in density 4, the Omicrons. But they created in a density 3 race called the dragons, or Dracon. Well, same as dragons. Dracon, Dragon. And that's where you get the word draconian. You might as well say dragonian. Dragon, dragonian, draconian. These are dino reptilians. So they lost a lot of their insect futures. This is what we see in fantasy movies, you guys. But they took off the legs. Now they're these flying mythical fantasy beings. Well, these beings actually have legs. They're bipedal. Just like the Jehovah and Anunnaki are bipedal. 2 legs. Well, the dragons have 2 legs. Just like you see in that movie Jupiter Ascending. Was it Jupiter Ascension or something like that? Mia Farrow or whatever her name is. This was a freaking amazing movie. If you're, I mean, it talks about some of this stuff, but it shows you what they might look like, and I show you pictures of what they might look like, based on this dino reptilian description. So the Omicron, these aren't the badasses. Most people think these are the powerful reptilian beings. They were created by a higher reptilian being, which most people have no idea, called the Omicron. And that's what this line is here. Omicron created the Dracon. The Dracon later, 1 million years ago, split their DNA with humans and created the Dracos. But it all leads back to the Omicron. They're the big daddies. And it even says here, 1 million years ago, the Dracon, dragons, plus human, Atlanteans, equals Dracos. So since they created them on Earth, they're actually Earthlings. And that's what some of the elites are. Not all of them. Some of them are reptilian elites, reptilian Illuminati. And they've been, and a lot of people have caught them on film morphing. Maybe it's just their eyes. Maybe you'll see a reptilian face, but that's because some people will see them because they have their fourth strand, third eye awakening. You know, the fourth strand psychic abilities, extrasensory perceptions. Well, most humans won't be able to see it. Well, sometimes it's caught on camera. So you don't need psychic powers when it's recorded, but this is what happened 250 billion years ago. This is the fallen angel's creation. It didn't always exist, you guys. This whole 15-dimensional time matrix is 950 billion years ago. And these fallen angels are only from 250 billion years ago? And you got people teaching about some demiurge, that's a natural, that evil is a natural part of creation. No, it's not. And so, once again, you guys, please follow the link that my moderators gave you to get this diagram. I click on the link that I put in the description of this video. I made this as a digital download, but I also made it as a physical diagram that you can put on your wall or just study it. So I want to check on chat again real quick. After Celine, there was Jazzy Jazz. Woohoo! Thank you, Star Sister Machiwa. Thank you for your support. You're a regular here. You've helped me several times. Thank you so much. And you guys, I have to ask. Oh yeah, Jupiter ascending. Thank you for correcting me, Abby. That's it. Jupiter ascending. You guys, please support this channel. This is how I survive. This is how I'm able to keep on doing my lives. And I will have to like stop doing lives and maybe once a month maybe and start selling products if I can't support myself. So if you guys really like these lives, if you like this community of chat, please support this work so I can keep on doing it. Thank you so much, because we still need $70 tonight. $70, you guys, please support this work. And you can also become a member, a paid member, or you can also go to my Etsy shop, because I sell crystals there as well. So thank you guys so much. And I hope this like shows you guys another point of view of what Anunnaki are, what the reptilians are, and how it started, what's some of the background history. And so this is ancient, super ancient drama that's affecting our ascension process. It's affecting our spiritual awakening process. It's keeping us ignorant. It's keeping us disempowered. Okay, this is something that is ongoing. It didn't go away. Some people think we're all ascending. We're not all ascending. Humans are still entrenched in religion, which are fallen angelic control systems. Humans are still worshiping these ET gods, not gods. So this is just proof that we're not awakening. We still have people being raped and put in slavery. We still have people being murdered and sacrificed. We still have people feeding these spiritual systems. It hasn't gone away. Galactic High Priestess! Woohoo! Yes! Yes, Holy One. Thank you so much for rescuing me tonight. And the others who also donated. Thank you so much, Galactic High Priestess. Much love and much respect. Give me a hug, sister. Yes! Bear hug! OMG. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, so this is you guys are getting it. You're oh, someone's got 11:11. Yes, probably in New York or Eastern time it's 11:11. Thank you for sharing that, you guys. Claim that in chat. Some are ascending, others stay asleep. You said it. Slices of pie. I also watched that movie. What's it called? This guy gets stranded on a boat with the tiger. Does someone know that name of that movie? Put it in chat. It was very interesting. One of my favorite parts of the movie is where they land on some island, and it has all these little mugrats, or whatever they're called. It was such an interesting scene in the whole movie, man. But Life of Pi or something like that. You got to check that movie out, guys. Just for entertainment purposes, right? Abby! Yes, Star Sister. Thank you so much. Woohoo! We got this. Yeah, I like your little emoji. Yeah, we got this. What's up? Life of Pi. You said it, Steve. It's a really cool movie. I like it a lot. And it does talk about religion and a bunch of different beliefs. But it's still, you're a Christic person. You're watching this movie from a different point of view. And you can still be entertained and know what the real messages may be saying. And I hope that a lot of you are teaching your children the innerchristos law of one teachings, so they can grow up and see all the distortions in their own cartoons, in their favorite pop stars. They will have the discernment that most kids do not, and they will become awakened adults, right? Thank you, Abby88. Bless you, sister. Ha! Nija, yes, I did cut my hair. Yes, I did. Machiwa. And we already talked about the hair cutting thing at great lengths. I'm going to have some people who are going to trigger. Some people are not going to align with that. They're going to think something's wrong. And so let them have, I don't need to defend myself when it comes to my personal life, right? And that's what it is, a superficial 3D thing. It's not my consciousness I'm cutting. It's my dead hair particles and my old image. This is my new image. This is my new lifestyle, and this is what I want to express. This is what I want to stand in with my twin flame, who's also, going to be living an active life with me. So, and she's cool with my hair, and that's my most important feedback, right? Yeah, Life of Pi. It was a cool movie. And it's one of those free movies on YouTube. I don't know if you guys are aware, but YouTube is pushing a lot of free movies now. So I've been watching. I canceled all my other movie accounts, and now I'm just catching up on a lot of those movies that are from the 90s and 2000s and stuff. So it's pretty cool. I like that. That was one of the movies that I got to watch again. So it was a very interesting movie. Okay, so David, I guess he's talking about some belief system here. Let me see. I didn't see any comment he made next to that comment. But he says, then the Asgard, the Greys, or the many races of mankind in different planets, seated by the ancients. No, they were not seated by the gold. You're talking about Stargate the movie, man. You're talking about some fictionalized human origins. I don't know what else you said, but that's the Goa'uld is from the movies, the TV series Stargate. We were not seeded by these ancient races. We were seeded by one race called the Orifim. And I showed that earlier tonight. Lyrans, it's the Anunnaki. They created the Lyran-Sirian Anunnaki. That race created the Oraphim. And the Oraphim created the angelic human. That's a higher level of us. Then the angelic human, some of it fell and became the earth humans. So you're going to have all kinds of people try to say we're created by something else or someone else. And to each their own. Not everyone's aligned with the innerchristos teachings. So be it. But that's what my channel is based on. And that's what I've discerned and discovered within my own. You guys know you don't actually need a book or some guru. You know, you can actually find it within your own living memory, which is in your dormant DNA. You just activate the DNA and you have the cognizance. This is not based on blind faith. It's not based on hope. Okay? It's based on your own inner Christos. And you're connected to that huge body of knowledge and truth within yourself. What religions and Anunnaki and Reptilians don't want you to have a connection. They want you to be relying on them, connected to them, connected to some self-proclaimed archangel, connected to some saint. You know, people are worshiping saints or making these little candles and doing prayers to them. That's their freaking, that's their distorted path. If that's what they align with, giving their power away, giving your power away. And there is an energy thing going on when you're praying to something and worshiping something. There's an exchange, a literal exchange of life force. This is why they created worship. When you're in religion, you think worship is a good thing. It's the exact opposite. You're actually making fallen angels stronger, bigger. You're expanding the consciousness. Now you're speaking judgment. Now you're thinking it. Now you're connecting to it, to the phantom, to hell, to Hades, to the lake of fire, to the fallen angelic beings who have plagued our race throughout history. Literally, the Guardians in Voyagers 2, they give a timeline and show all the different things, horrendous things that these beings like the Anunnaki and the Reptilians have done. Remember, the Anu Elohim fell, and they created a fallen angelic race called the Jehovah Anunnaki. The Omicron fell, and they created a fallen angelic race called the Dracon, the dragons. So if you're a dragon and you align with it as a guardian, remember, there was host matrices done. A host matrix is a healing. Some of them got healed. Most of them did not. So it's possible to find a positive Elohim, and it's possible to find a positive dragon, but just realize that their main race is not. It's part of this effort to invade our planet, distort the guardian humans, and capture our stargates. They want our stargates. This is why put guardians near stargates, because it is our covenant to protect them. Instead, we have Illuminati factions and wars and human governments fighting for each other for the stargates, fighting for the vortices, fighting for the portals. And now you got beings creating portals and creating wormholes. So there's all kinds of places and for these beings to enter and leave. Some of it's natural, some of it's unnatural. And you better believe that what did George Bush do when he invaded Iraq? What was it really about? Well, it's actually talked about in Voyagers 2. It talks about what 9/11 was really about. It talks about what World War I, World War II was about. And it has nothing to do with the mainstream narrative. It has to do with these fallen angelic, Anunnaki, reptilian races. And so this is something that you align with or you don't, or you study this information and you have these memories activated. You it's like a positive trigger. Something activates a memory that was once dormant. Now it's playing like a movie inside your mind as a vivid, cognizant memory. You'll feel it, you'll see it, you hear it. It's like living color. Like you know the difference between a thought in your mind or just a regular dream, and those kind of dreams where you feel like there's no difference between waking reality and that lucid dream. And so a lot of people are experimenting with plant medicine, or they're experimenting with altering their consciousness, and they can experience those altered states to access higher dimensions. You want to learn how to do that organically, naturally, but plant medicine can be used not to bypass, but to co-create with. It's co-creating with you, helping you temporarily. You have that connection in your DNA for a little while, and then the medicine wears off, and then that connection goes back to your normal baseline awareness. So I always encourage people to explore, even once in your life, explore ayahuasca, explore psilocybin, or do it occasionally. Like, I'm not exposing my neighbors because you don't know who they are, but this young couple is very powerful, already experimenting with plant medicine and having their own trauma healed, having their own lifetime, past life, future life memories returning to them. It's not a joke. I introduced my channel. I told them what I teach. So that's up to them. I planted a seed. And so can you guys, by the way. Your neighbors, your family, your friends, people at your school, people at your work. You can introduce and plant seeds. Because certainly there's an opportunity now for people to wake up. Well, there's many people worshiping Anunnaki and Reptilians. Well, some people doubt that. They know there's something not right there. That's their innerchristos speaking to them on a subtle level. Part of them gets it. Part of it knows it. You feel it. You feel the discordance in some of those New Age teachings. Machiwa. Jennifer Novelli, thank you, Holy One. Bless you, sister. Oh, you guys, thank you so much. You have no idea. This is so needed in my life right now. Moving is going to make me poor. Seriously. So everything helps, you guys. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Bless you for that exchange of energy. And she wrote a message. What's your knowledge on the archons in this distorted teaching? Love and 12D light. Thank you, sister. Good question. From what I remember from people talking about it and my own research, that's coming from Gnosticism. The Gnostics came up with that one. Didn't come from New Age. Just like people don't understand, Metatron is not coming from New Age, it's coming from Kabbalah. Well, that concept that she's mentioning is coming from Gnosticism. They also talk about the demiurge. And so it has something to do with a negative God. There's no such thing as a negative God. You guys understand that God is perfect. If you can imagine anything perfect, it's God. Is angry perfection? Is mass murder, genocide, perfection? Okay? Is jealousy perfection? Is hatred perfection? Because that's what your God, you're calling God, that people are calling God in religion. That's their qualities. That's their traits. God is perfect. God doesn't have distortion. God doesn't have hatred. God isn't cruel. False ET gods are. So people are worshiping false gods. And every one of those religions think their God is the real God, the true God, and all those other ET gods are false gods. There's only one God, and it isn't cruel. It isn't causing destruction. It isn't casting black magic spells into Egypt. Chaos magic. That's the path of chaos. That is not source God. That is not creator. That is a fragment, holographic, distorted version in the hologram, claiming to be your creator. So the archons are simply part of the paradigm of Gnosticism, and so it is not part of the Emerald Order teachings. Now let me just get that real quick. Because I've talked about this before, and I just have to look it up, search it real quick. This is why I love making notes on my computer, so you can find it immediately by a search. Control F on the computer board, Control F to find something. In all my notes, I can do a Control F. I have almost 1,500 notes now. This is kind of like a web matrix I made a web matrix. So all the information I seek in my research, I can find it within a few seconds. It has to look through all these pages to find it. Archons in Gnosticism. That's what I said, Gnosticism. Gnostic texts describe archons as rulers or gatekeepers, often tied to the demiurge, what I just mentioned, which is a false creator god, not the real God. The real God is perfect. Remember, this being is not. Said to control humanity through illusion, matter, and an astral plane. First of all, creator God does not control you, is not influencing you. God gave you free will to basically do whatever the F you want. It has energetic frequency consequences, but you're going to be making your own choices. God doesn't interfere with your choices. Well, people, scream at God and curse God and accuse God. It's not God. It's you and your own freaking thoughts and alignment of your frequency, man. And God's not doing anything to you. You see what I'm saying? These archons are simply, like I said before, they're fallen angelic ET races. Many of them from the Luciferian Covenant and the Phantom Matrix systems. Tonight's topic. They're not divine rulers. But people think these beings like Yahweh are divine. Do you know what is divine? People don't know what is divine. They don't know what is God. Now they think some negative, distorted being is God. They don't know what is God. They think God is negative and has flaws and traits like anger and jealousy. Because this being in the Christian Bible is jealous. This being has said, I hate you, Israel. This being has done some horrible things. No, God, creator, doesn't do horrible things at all. God doesn't judge. God doesn't devalue women. God doesn't have favoritism and chosen ones. These are all twisted, negative traits. But why do humans not notice it? You just accept it into your heart and your mind. That's what these archons are. Distorted God? They're finite beings who broke cosmic law. Hello, Metatron. What did Metatron do? Try to reverse creation mechanics. And now Thoth is teaching you reverse creation mechanics. Now you got people teaching you reverse creation mechanics, reverse regret mechanics. You spin your Merkaba the wrong way, holy ones. That's not life. Archons operate as energetic parasites and mind control engineers. Does that sound like Source? Because that's what Gnosticism is teaching you, man. And bless you in your question. This is towards all the people who are following Gnosticism and its freaking effed up teachings. These archons manipulate human perception through false light systems, and I already talked about those and made some examples tonight. They create religious overlays, like false light inversions, new age deceptions, and direct psychic interference. They want humans to look outward for saviors or be trapped in fear-based belief structures. So the innerchristos connection is never activated. Excuse me, I got an itch in my eye. So obviously archons are against you. They're anti-Christic, anti-human, anti-earth. But this tells you Gnosticism is another spiritual false light teaching. Just like Christianity is a false light teaching. They're going to sprinkle some truth, but it's got a whole bunch of lies and inversions. So you might find some truth, maybe some truth in Gnosticism, but you're just swallowing phantom frequency. Is that what you want? Do you guys want half-truths? I don't know about you. You're an indigo. You crave only truth. You won't accept distortion in your field. You don't want it. You only want to feel that freaking amazing, super amazing, connection to your soul, your oversoul, your avatar, your rishi, your ascended master levels. You're going to learn through these teachings, and you guys, with my twin flame, we're going to be bringing you so much more higher advanced teachings. I'm not going to just stay in Voyager stuff, because that's what most of my channel has been about, and it was needed. That was part of my mission. But just like you see all these changes in my life, my teachings are going to evolve into greater things that are branching out into the more advanced teachings. We're going to be singing songs together. We're going to be doing mechanics together. And it's long overdue. But I consider this whole thing with my twin flame divine timing. It was supposed to happen now. And I'm not going to tell you the details. That's our own private life. But there is so many magical things, synchronies, just obvious signs happening between me and her. And that happens between all twin flames who will find each other. It's just like magic, man. It's just like, Wachima. Someday she's going to be right here next to me in front of the camera, here on Christos Avatar. So hopefully that gave you an idea, your question. The real demiurge is the false creator, is none other than Yahweh, Jehovah, and similar false ET gods. They are not source God, but beings who demand worship and obedience and siphon energy. This is why I go through the trouble of explaining to you what is actually happening with worshiping, with your free will. Drinking blood, eating flesh. It doesn't matter if it's symbolic. No, this is something I learned doing my research on my Lucifer video. In the Catholic belief system, and I'm sure it's the same for Christians, they believe that the priest consecrates the wine and the bread. They call that transubstantiation or something like that. And so they believe it's really blood and it's really flesh. And that just doesn't make it any better. So it goes beyond symbolism. You guys, I'm going to be coming out with, not now because I got so much going on, but I will be making a series that debunks and exposes all these mainstream religions. Like, I'm going to go to their teachings and show you in their own teachings and their own actual practices and see how it's traced back to this freaking fallen angelic, Anunnaki and Reptilian sources. Not occult sources, not Book of Enoch sources, not Thoth Inky sources, not Metatron sources, not, what's the other one? Council of Nine, Council of, you don't need no councils. It's going to be a series that's probably going to be very controversial. But, of course, I want to do it as calmly and as succinctly, graciously to people's beliefs, but still expose the dark, demonic, fallen angelic sources to their belief system. I mean, if you are innerchristos, man, if you are Emerald Order brothers and sisters, this is exactly what we're bringing these teachings for. To expose religion, to expose the ETs, to expose the phantom beings. So it's not a horrible idea to start exposing religions. My family are religious people. I'm sure they're not going to be happy about it. I'm sure other religious people aren't going to want to hear that stuff. But it's truth that the Guardians, the Emerald Covenant is bringing. Some of you are Emerald Covenant. Some of you are Indigo Children. Who do you represent? You represent these principles. This is our principles, and we're not allowing Luciferian intruder races to take over our planet. We don't allow it in our life, in our own light body. We don't allow it in our relationships. You don't allow yourself to date narcissists, for example, or marry narcissists. We don't allow that distortions in our bodies, in our emotions, in our minds, in our spirits. You're supposed to be a beacon of the Christ, the Christos. A beacon, a servant of the law of one. Servant as in service to others versus service to self. Service to the ego. Service to personal power. Oh, you can be abundant. You can have power, but it's not about something that's weaponized or used to overcome, to be better than, like an elite does with its resources. So, wake up, human race. Get off your knees and start exposing the darkness in the world with me, brothers and sisters, with all the other guardian nations, all the other guardian angelics. We're here to expose darkness. Your light shines. It exposes ignorance. It exposes pain. It exposes suffering. It exposes fear. It exposes the devaluing of women, which is prevalent on earth. We expose subservience and worshiping. We expose channeling. We expose chosen ones. We expose all those practices related to blood and death. We expose the false ET gods. We talk about it in the open on social media with people that we meet. It's our calling, man. We're not watering stuff down. We're not keeping it a secret. It's coming out like a flood, like a dam has just opened and the river, the crystal river, is flowing, rushing through earth. And not everyone's going to claim that truth, because we know some are following the phantom gods. They're going to go into phantom earth. Some people are going to repeat incarnation, reincarnate. They ain't going nowhere. Some people are going to awaken to those, teachings, to our exposing. You see people on my own channel saying thank you, and explain their testimony. I was once doing this, now this really changed my life. It changed my life. I'm one of the testimonies. And you better believe, you guys, if you're one of those people who want to share this truth, you better believe some people are going to attack you on a personal level. You'll get hate messages. You'll get hate emails. You get people attacking you on your posts, on your videos. You're not meant to give up. You're not you don't want to be, bullied. You're also not meant to be walked over like a carpet. You're not meant to be humiliated. You get rid of all those, you put boundaries on all those people in your life. We're meant to stand in our conviction in this frequency. The Anunnaki and the Reptilian races are fallen angelic intruder races that want to, the end game. The end game is to create a one world order, a one world religion, or even cause a false alien invasion. That's in the works. That's one of their paths that they can take. It could happen, or some other thing can happen. But I think very carefully what they did in Parallel Earth. They used Project Bluebeam, they used HARP. They created the false coming of some Jesus. And they used all these mind control technologies. And we know those things exist here. We know we also have a HARP system. We also know there is a Project Bluebeam system. We know they're creating wormholes and portals to the freaking hell. Phantom Matrix. So you better believe they're going to try to, if it was successful there, and according to Oceana, she said they're more evolved than us. They were more evolved than us. So if it can happen there, if it can happen in human seeding 1 and human seeding 2, annihilated, destroyed, well, here we are in human seeding 3. You know it can happen here. You know they're doing stuff with HARP. You know they're doing, opening portals. You know there's wars and death and sacrifices. You know there's Luciferian witch cults, satanic cults. You know kids are being kidnapped and sacrificed. You know this dark, twisted stuff exists. You know it's real. So don't say it's impossible for us to get taken over again. This is an awakening happening, so this is exactly when these fallen angels come. They come during this time when humans can actually take their power back. Because if we took our power back and we didn't believe in all those angry, cruel gods, they lose their power. Their politicians are exposed. Their kings and queens and emperors are exposed. Their presidents, their CEOs, their gurus are all exposed. Humans, wake up, man. And we reclaim our power. As a guardian, angelic human race. We reclaim our memories. We reclaim our immortal bodies. We reclaim our connection to Source God, man. That's what we're here for, homies. But not all humans are doing it. We're creating a timeline for all those who align. So stop telling me and telling the world that we're all awakening. It's not happening. Only those who are aligning to the 4th and 5th strand awakening. Are you one of those humans? Or are you going to be one of those humans reincarnating? Those aren't awakening. They're not ascending. Are you going to be one of those humans falling into the phantom? They're not ascending. We're not all ascending. We're not all awakening. Only a certain population who are actually working on their consciousness and making changes in their life. They're changing their diets. They think it helps. They're changing their beliefs. They're getting rid of the old beliefs in the Wicca, in the astrology, in the divination, in the Golden Dawn practices. They're letting go. I let go of channeling. I got that crap out of my life. You got to change, homies. You want to be on the awakening timeline? I hope to see you there, brothers and sisters. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here on the crust. What was that word? Near, really close to my birthday, and I know that's going to be a powerful. Not all birthdays are the same, but I know this one will be very special. So, thank you guys for being part of this shift, part of this expansion with me. Machiwa. I feel good, do, like I know that I would, do, yeah. Ow! I'll start dancing and moonwalking for you, yeah. And there'll be people that are hating on me. Like you saw that comment earlier. No! You cut your hair! Alright, that was a little melodramatic, but you know, some people will freak out. They're not ready. They're not ready for this expansion. Raise your hand if you're ready to grow. If you're ready to just rock it, baby. What's up? Thank you, guys. Machiwa. What I love about short hair is I can ruffle it up, I can mess it with it, and it still looks good. If I try to do that with my long hair, no way, dude. I have to be real careful how I moved my hair. You know, and it takes a while to brush it. It took a while to wash it, condition it, and I always had to have something like my where is it? Oh, it's in the bathroom, but this hat that I wear, my twin flame loves it. I guess I'll wear it around her. But yeah, I had to do that just so my hair couldn't stop going on my face. Now I have nothing blocking my vision. Hey, I'm not making fun of my old self. I love whatever I went through because what I went through got me to where I am now. So, you guys are literally seeing some of my twin flame already in my frequency. Think about that one. All right, you guys, it's about that time. I'm just looking for the last comments. G-Light's excited for my birthday. Yeah, birthday! Woohoo! And what other place to celebrate my birthday except in Sedona with people I love and care about, right? Damn, man. That's going to be an amazing birthday. I love you guys. So happy to have you with us. G-Light? Really? That's cool. That's interesting. Yeah, it's so cool to see you guys in chat. You guys are becoming very knowledgeable, and you're practicing the techniques. You're learning the actual forbidden history, and you know that what these beings are. 99 people online and 111 likes. Talk about synchrony. Someone put that in chat. 99 and 111. You guys can see it for yourself. 99 111. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. What's up? Do 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 do. Yeah, man. Shaddai Ure Akumtan. Shaddai Ure Akumtan. Shaddai Ure Akumtan. I am Christ star. Say it with me, holy ones. I am Christ star. I am Christ star. That's a reference to your 12D chakra, consciousness. Christ star, Merkaba field. The spinning white Merkaba. Christ star. I am a Christos avatar. That's what you're saying. If you want, you could just say that. I am Christos avatar. I am Christos avatar. I am Christos avatar. We all are. All humans have an original 12-strand DNA. The Guardians call it either the silicate matrix or the diamond sun DNA, 12-strand DNA. Even though the scientists only see double helix, I suspect they know there's more in the dormant DNA. We're not limited to 2 strands of consciousness, baby. Strand. This is exactly why we're a guardian race. We're not the center of the universe, but we're guardians, and we're meant to be helping other races, and not just animals on our earth. But I mean, literally, once we go to a law of one civilization, extraterrestrial activity will be normal. It will be like, can you imagine living in a life like that? Those of you who are awakened, who believe in guardians, who want to meet these more advanced races, hell yeah! You want to be in spaceships coming and going. You'll be traveling in stargates and going into other galaxies. That's who we are. That's our potential. And I'm not talking about no secret space program. The Guardians are not giving you secrets. We're supposed to be open and sharing the technology, sharing the knowledge. And we're all meant to be equal, not some freaking hierarchies, not some elite society groups, not some chosen one groups. All equal and aligning in Source God. Yeah, all beings are at different levels of awareness. That doesn't mean you're more valuable or more important than another. We're all equal as, remember, we all started as ascended masters. Even some person who thinks they don't know much, well, part of you is an ascended master. So, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I'm hungry. I got to go eat. And, I haven't been able to work out yesterday because I was going to Las Vegas. I live an hour and a half from Vegas. I had to travel to Vegas just to get some clothes instead of just having to show up with just these kind of clothes, right? So I didn't get to work out. I had to prepare a little bit for my trip. And so, but you guys, I'll be gone next Tuesday. That's actually my birthday day. Tuesday is my birthday, September 9th, so I probably won't be doing a live, I don't know, but I will be doing a live just on other activities in Sedona. So you can expect I'll still release some videos, so I hope to see you guys come to those videos. I can't wait to see you and be on a regular schedule again, but you guys, please have patience with me during this transition, because I also have to come back to Nevada. I have to clean my entire acre of land, and then I have to pack up everything in my house and clean the whole house. I don't know how much time I'll be able to do a live, but just have patience with me during September. Just understand that your brother isn't disappearing. I'm actually getting prepared for something much greater. Machiwa. Thank you guys. Good night. Have a blessed evening. And I'll hope to see you soon. Namaste. Aho. Machiwa. Omni Christos love. I'll write that in chat. We're transmuting fallen angelic Anunnaki and reptilians, baby. What's up? Omni, Christos, love. Thank you to all you who supported me tonight. Thank you to all the members who are also supporting me in those memberships. Thank you to all you regulars. Thank you to my moderators. Give a gratitude to my moderators. They're here for service. You notice we don't have hardly any trolls anymore because of my moderators, and they're also here to eagerly service you guys. And that's Starman, Little Alien, Celine, Indigo Wizard, and Sarah Holder, and Sir Madism, and Giannis, and Stardust Goddess. Sometimes I forget one of you. Don't take that personally, but so thank you to them as well in their service. Blessings to all of you in your spiritual journey. I'll see you soon. Good night. Woohoo! We did it! Yes! Machua.